Welcome to another edition of Tyrone Paulson Drives, where today I get to drive another electric vehicle. But it's in a car that actually didn't start off as one, but has since become one, and has also inspired a whole bunch of other cars to become EVs. It's a very inspiring story. Behind me is the Volvo XC40 Recharge. Now, the Volvo XC40 itself has been in South Africa for just over 5 years, but in 2022 we were introduced to the XC40 Recharge version, and that was, well, the full electric version of the XC40, and it featured two models, a single and a dual motor setup. Now, the latter sent all its power to all four wheels, sending 300 kilowatts and 600 newton meters of torque to it. Both these cars were so popular that Volvo sold every single version of it as soon as it reached South Africa. Now, fast forward to 2024, and there's some changes to the XC40 Recharge, with the most important being changes made to its battery. Now they can be charged at a much faster rate than before, as much as up to 175 kilowatts. Sadly, though, we don't have chargers that are that quick in South Africa. But what it would mean is that you would be able to charge this car from like 20% to 100 completely full in just 30 minutes or so. These changes also made to the battery also means that it should be a lot more efficient, with also increases in range performance. Now, the most significant changes was made to this model we have right here today. This is the single motor version. Now, the first version has its electric motors mounted to the front wheels and sent 175 kilowatts and 420 newton meters of torque to it. But now that motor has been moved to the rear, which should mean a much more engaging drive, but we'll get to that a little later. Looks-wise, though, the XC40 Recharge still has got that boxy shape that we've become used to in the standard XC40. Not much really has changed on the car. There's some new colors and a more EV-style grille, or well, the lack of it. But I really like it, nogal, I really do. Then there's some new wheels, which has got this windmill blade kind of effect onto it. Which is interesting is that the black portions, which look like there should be gaps, is actually covered, which means better airflow and better efficiency, obviously. Then there's the Thor hammer headlights. They're still there, although they are a lot brighter and a lot better than before. Basically, the overall styling is still classic Volvo. It's clean, it's neat, it's uncomplicated, and it looks really good. That same theme of familiarity continues right here in the inside of the XC40. It still feels exactly the same as what you're used to. And I will make this statement, I got it, always do it. Volvo makes the best seats in the business. They should seriously consider selling couches. They also continue that promise they made of using recyclable materials on the interior, like here on the seats, on the dash, and various other places. And all of this feels really good to the touch. Because normally when you think about recyclable materials, you think about things that are made cheap, but this doesn't feel cheap at all. The Google Android-powered infotainment system is quite a breeze to use, and it's made easier with this 9-inch portrait-style display. Even though it does feel a little bit small compared to a lot of its competitors right now, but it's still crisp and clear and very, very easy to use, especially when checking out maps. I don't know why other people don't do it this way. Apple CarPlay is available for you. Unfortunately, though, it's still wired. It is a bit of a schlep. There is wireless charging in here, but I think maybe some future updates might just fix that. The driver info display is crisp and clear and very easy to use, just like in every other model or any other car that Volvo has. These displays are definitely one of the best out there as well. One little thing that I really like is this little trim level over here. Right now you see it's kind of black, and it's black here in the doors as well. But at night, it kind of lights up. It's this awesome white effect, giving it, I don't even know how to describe it, but it's like this woody, cool thing. It just works. In the rear, it's also a very comfortable place to be, with seating for 3, but I still think that for a more comfortable ride, longer journeys, 2 is probably going to be the best option. Even while it does look small on the outside, it is very roomy right here, given enough room, headroom and leg room for, well, even longer legged humans out there. There's ISOFIX points for baby seats, as well as 3 proper seat belts. There's 1, there's 2, and well, here's the other one. So there's more than enough for everyone here at the back. There's USB charging ports in the rear for the kids to keep them happy, as well as air vents to keep them cool, as well as USB charging ports here in the front as well. There's cup holders in the armrest, and there's 2 cup holders over here, even though I've got other stuff stored in here at the moment. And then it has this neat little removable bin that goes in that you can put dirt in, and then you can just throw it out and put it back. So that's quite a neat little trick. You also get a total of 7 airbags for your safety and a 7-speaker sound system for your sanity. The boot of the XC40 Recharge has a total of 443 liters on offer, even with the motor being mounted at the rear. And this was achieved by removing the spare wheel. Now, this space can be increased to 1,296 liters when the rear seats are put down. There's an additional space of about 32 liters that you can find, if I can open it, in the frunk or the fruit or whatever you want to call it. You can definitely store stuff in here, but right now is where you'll find all your charging cables, and below that is where you find a tire repair kit. It's quite a neat little space. Talking about neat space, well, what you can do is to even give you extra space by lifting up the floor like this, and well, then you have these little things like shopping hooks where you can put your shopping bags on, and you can separate things at the back, things that might be rolling around, stuff in the bags, and then there's all this extra space down here as well. So very neat, right? Driving the XC40 Recharge feels, well, honestly, quite exactly the same as what it was when driving the normal ICE version of the car. Now, I last drove that car about, I think it was 4 years ago when I drove it, and it still is and was back then a very, very comfortable, easy car to drive and to live with. I mean, all the controls and everything is where you want it to be. It's easy to reach, it's easy to get to. The view out the front, the rear, it is really, really cool. It just, yeah, it's typical Volvo. They haven't changed the basic DNA of this car. The one thing that you do notice though over that car is how quiet this one is. I mean, when you turn the radio off, for example, all you hear is the road noise, which quite honestly I find very calming. But I think that's something you find in every single electric car that it's out there. It is a little weird though, because there's no like rumble of the engine or vibrations from that. It's just smooth, very cool. Another weird thing is that this car, unlike most modern cars, does not have a start button. So when you unlock the car, it's ready to go. You just put it in drive and you go. It takes a bit getting used to, but it does turn off, especially when you click the off button or the lock button. That's like an off button. Then it just turns it all off. Another thing you need to kind of get used to is the instant power that you get from the electric motors. And I think you get that in every single electric car, right? But in this one, it's quite evident because you do 0 to 100 in like 7.3 seconds. And then in the dual motor version of this car, it does it in 4.8 seconds. So it's even quicker. But to be quite honest with you, you end up doing what I'm doing right now, just cruising, and rarely end up using it. I mean, it is there. I mean, like it's there. I mean, instant torque is there. Another thing you need to get kind of used to with this car is that it's got those one pedal braking. So when you take your foot off, the car automatically brakes, and it kind of slows it down. But that is, you also get used to it very, very, very quickly, and it's something you end up missing when you're not driving an electric car like this. I didn't drive the previous front-wheel drive version of this car, so I can't really compare if it's been any major changes by moving the motors to the rear, but generally speaking, when you move a engine to the rear, it gives you a bit more of a engaging, more sporty kind of drive onto it. But if you're not a car enthusiast, then that's really not going to make a real difference to you though. The thing that is going to make a difference to you is all the safety features that's in this car. So it's got adaptive cruise control, lane keeping assist, accident mitigation, and a whole host of other features as well, which will ensure your journey will always be good. Honestly, overall, I really enjoy driving this Recharge version of the XC40. I mean, the ICE version, as mentioned earlier, was just as good, but I can now see why this car and its sibling, it just immediately when they arrive on the showroom floor, they just get sold because they're just really good at everything that it does. The other thing that you're going to find, oh yeah, there's a lot of things you should find intimidating driving a car like this for the first time, but the thing is, the Recharge story, that does get to you. Because you're always thinking about, ooh, that whole range anxiety story about when am I going to charge it.
With our test with the Volvo XC40 Recharge, we average between 17.5 and 18.5 kilowatt hours per 100 kilometers, which would average at about 380 and 390 kilometers on a single charge, which is a lot better than a lot of other tests before.
Volvo gives you that added little benefit of giving you a wall box charger when you purchase this car. So you'll be able to kind of just charge it overnight and it will work out for you. By the way, if you haven't watched my video of living with an EV, you should definitely go and watch it. It was quite fun, quite funny, and also quite intimidating as well to kind of drive a car like that. Something that is a little bit intimidating, and I think that's for most of us South Africans nowadays, is, well, the price. The price of this car and of EVs. This one is one of the cheaper ones though. It comes in at just over 1.1 million rand. And yes, there are cheaper EVs out there, but this Volvo's a premium brand, and you can definitely feel it when driving this XC40 Recharge. It feels premium, it feels solid, everything is just done and put together really, really well. So, I mean, yeah, you've got to make a choice of which EV you want, but this is a car that you can use as both a cruiser, as a daily driver. You can use it, yeah, it's really good. Listen, when I went to the Beijing Auto Show earlier this year, the one thing that I've noticed is that loads and loads of manufacturers are bringing out EVs or hybrids, but the EVs and the stuff that they put into it is really good. And if this is what Volvo's just done over the last couple of years in their entry-level car, can you imagine what it's going to be like in the next couple of years? It's going to be probably even better. That's why, and I'll say this again, as a petrol head, I was seriously worried with the introduction of EVs, but honestly, it's still an engaging, it's still a fun drive, no matter what EV you drive, and you can evidently feel in this car. I do think that the future for us as motorists is not just looking bright, it's looking electrifying. That's corny, right? Thanks for watching.